So give yourselves a woo. Woo! Oh, y'all are good. But you gotta get the hands going too. So, okay, will you do it again? Okay, 1, 2, 3. Woo!
All right. Good morning.
Good morning. How are you doing?
I am doing great. Back home. I brought my mother home with me, and it's going to be here a couple of weeks. But I have good, stable internet today, so that's really good.
This is good.
Yeah. So thank you last week for being able to take over the show and do it, as my internet was really awful.
Oh, no problem.
And you did great. So thank you so much. So who is out there with us this morning? Our winners of our gift cards were we picked it at the 1st of July, but it was the June winners. I finally got their cards out for their certificates. Like, okay, Delinda, it's going to be time to pick new winners before I got the gift cards out. So our winners, Karen Hagen and Kathy Weaver, are finally going to have it in their mailbox. So
awesome.
Oh, Ohio in the house. So Ohio, who are you? What's your name? We only see Facebook user. And if you'll see in the chat, I put that link. I assume you can click it. That way you can get permission so we know who you are. But we're glad you're here from Ohio. Can't think of who's in Ohio. I don't know. Mm-hmm. So we love it when you check in and tell us where you are from. So, you can't click the link. Okay. Can you copy, paste it? So it's just StreamYard.com/Facebook, and it'll just say, is it okay to show your name? Yeah, because it's nice to actually see your name. But we're glad you're here. But I have to have your name in order to put you on the list for at the end of the month for the drawing. So Starbucks gift cards that go out.
Otherwise, Facebook user would win a lot, huh?
Yeah, Facebook. Exactly. So, Lisa, do we have any stuff going on that we need to announce?
Well, just the top of my head is just wow conference we're going to have here in Las Vegas in February that everybody needs to put down on their calendar.
Yeah, for sure. It's gonna be a great time here in Las Vegas, and that's why we call it WOW. It's Wow the World. And for those who might not have watched before, haven't been on much, where the Wow the World came from, I was chatting one day just on Facebook, and I said something to the effect, if every woman could see herself through God's eyes, we could wow the world. And it's like, a friend of mine said, Delinda, that's it. That's the name of your conference. And I do love that, because I believe it so strong that, if we would all just really understand how amazing it is that, see ourselves through God's eyes, who loves us so unconditionally, it would change everything in our life. You no longer ever have to compare yourself to somebody else, because it's that weird thing that we compare the things that we are not confident with somebody else's shining thing, so, it's never an equal thing, and we're all different. Our talents and everything are different. So anyway, that's my little thing for the morning. If you're feeling not good about yourself, don't worry about anybody else around you. Just be totally you, and God loves you just how you are. So I don't know, somebody might need to hear that this morning.
I'm sure we all do.
Yeah. Good morning,
Other
Kathy.
than that,
yeah, go ahead.
I don't know of anything other than that. Do you have anything that you recall that we need to let everybody know about?
Well, just our ongoing things in the Fun Fearless group. So what is today? Today's Tuesday. Every Thursday we are doing networking, actual Fun Fearless Female networking, and anybody can come and join in. We would love to do that. Come meet some of the gals, and it's a fun time. And depending on how many are there, we everybody gets to hear from everybody. And that is great, as well as then Kathy Weaver, who's on here. She always gives us a tech tip every Thursday, and we just are learning so much. There's like bite-sized pieces. So every week we're learning. I think we've had multiple weeks
That's
on
awesome.
various LinkedIn or even Zoom things. And so we just kind of keep growing and learning all the time, which is beautiful. And then once a month we have Wow Wednesday, which we bring in a trainer. And Kathy, again, because she is such a great trainer. If y'all haven't had the opportunity to be in one of her workshops or something, then you need to do that.
I agree.
She is excellent, and she's going to be doing our training in August, and it's going to be on YouTube. I saw her. I was in a class she did a few weeks ago, and really excellent. So whether you have a YouTube channel or you don't, you're just wanting one, you don't know where to start, or you have one and you don't really know what to do with it, she is going to be great. So just put that the first Wednesday of August. And I don't remember the exact date because I don't have my calendar. Lisa, you might be able to look at it. And so that would be great. So I see too, our Ohio user. So you could just tell us your name. Still showing up as Facebook. Ohio, just type your, there you go. You said that. Good, Lisa. Just type your name. So August 3rd. Thank you, Kathy. All right. So, and then our beautiful here, Lisa, is going to be teaching in September on being a time lord, right? That's what you're talking about, right? Some time priority management thing.
Yeah, we're just going to do some time tips and things like that.
Yeah, so that's going to be great in September. So that's the Wow Wednesday, the first Wednesday of every month. Tanisha Jackson. All right. So you are our Ohio gal, huh? Thanks for being here. We love that.
Welcome.
And if you have not joined Fun Fearless yet, be sure to join that because you're going to have a lot of exposure to some really amazing women. We'd love that. So today, Lisa, lead us in and tell us. You picked the word for the day. So what's our word?
Focus. It's one of my favorite words, which is kind of odd because since I deal with attention deficit disorder, focus means different things to me than it probably means to other people. So it'll be interesting to see what focus means to all of our audience as well.
Yeah. When I just know the time, I don't always focus with, let's see, how do I say this? There are times when I focus more, when I'm very, very intentional. And I think to have real focus, you have to be very intentional about what that is. What is it that you're striving for? So if it's a goal or, and usually it does involve a goal or a vision that you want to focus on. But Lisa and I were talking just a few minutes ago, and I was asking her, so Lisa, you'll have to remind me again, but there's something about, you're getting ready to buy a, let's say an SUV, because a few years ago, I noticed this, and all of a sudden, so I was looking at SUVs, like, okay, what kind do I want? What size do I want? And I decided on that medium level. So pretty soon, that's all I saw. It's like, does everybody in the world drive an SUV? Because all of a sudden my mind was just looking for them everywhere because I was focusing. I wanted to buy one. I wanted to know what kind I wanted. So I was finding that. So what is that? What is that called? That's a phenomenon.
So they call it, some people call it top of mind, but it's the frequency illusion. But the reason that it occurs is because basically we're seeing a lot of things that the brain is only processing subconsciously. But when we bring something into focus, then you notice it a lot more because it's right there and the brain is being stimulated to see it. So it becomes more frequent.
Yeah, because I think all of these things are around us all the time anyway. They haven't changed, but it seems to us that has, because all of a sudden now we're seeing it. And so it is just, our brain is such an amazing thing, how it works.
But that's what they say, like if you focus on something as a goal or you focus on a certain thing happening, that's why they say it's easier to accomplish that, because you're starting to notice things. Like, for instance, let's say you want to increase your income in your business. So you're focusing on finding things that might do that. Because of that, you see things that you may have let slip by normally. So focusing in that manner is a good way to actually meet your goals. Because sometimes if we don't take the time to specifically say what we want to do or see, the brain just passes it by. We just miss opportunities.
Mhm. And don't you think that has to do also with when we're looking for like miracles, like the ordinary miracles that are just around us every day? If we're looking for them, if we're anticipating that they're going to be there and just see how God's working, then we do. I mean, it's an amazing thing. If we're always looking for bad, that also happens. So we have to be careful, because if you're focusing on finding, everything bad that's wrong in the world, trust me, you're going to find plenty. Turn on the TV, watch the news. But if you're really looking for, whether it's the good in other people or just the miracles that God's giving us every day, then you're going to see that, because your mind, that's what your mind is focusing on. And it's filtering out all the other stuff.
Right. So focus can be like a filter for you for, like, sunglasses.
Yeah.
But, and for me, because like everything in my life is a bunny going by the screen, if there's things on the outer perimeter. So, I'm always telling people, like, that was a bunny that went by. Sorry, I got distracted. But for me, sometimes focus means focusing on a couple of things so that I can focus on the main thing. I know that sounds kind of crazy, but like, for instance, I'll put music on in the background so that I can study. That helps my mind, because my mind's always racing and going different places. So the part that's really busy listens to the music, and the part that needs to get things done focuses on the task. So sometimes you just have to know how your brain focuses so that you can help it do what you need to.
Now I can do that anymore. I do better with quiet.
Yeah.
But if I have music, it cannot have words, because if it has words, my brain starts singing that song with the words, and now I can't focus on what I'm working on. It's crazy. It's like, okay. And I remember one time I was getting a massage, and it's been so long, that's bad, because like I should go get one. Do a little self-care and go get a massage, right? But I remember in this particular one getting this massage, and the music was kind of nice for just soft background. It was just great, like they usually have on. And then all of a sudden it went on to something that was not loud or, fast or anything, but it was words. And I had to tell her, I said, would you mind going back? Because I can't relax with my brain is now alert following the words of this song. So, it is learning what your own mind does, right? And at that point, I didn't want to be thinking about the words to the song. I wanted to totally chill. So, anyway,
yes.
One of my learning things.
Well, welcome. If we didn't say welcome to everybody else already, but welcome to, we just had a new sign on, Laura Brown.
Oh, good. Oh, and Grace, hey, I hadn't seen yours. Laura, nice to see you on here. That's great.
But part of why I like the word focus is because I like to focus based on through the lens of my values. That's one of the things I love to teach is focusing on how to make choices based on our values. So you use the values to kind of determine what you see and what's going to happen in your life.
And I think when you have that focus, and I love that exercise that you do in your beginning class, which you will be teaching, like I said, again in September. Yeah. So y'all be ready.
Valuation.
And when you're looking at those 5 circles or the 5 priorities, when you really get clear that is what you want, then it is easier to focus things like, okay, this lines right up. And at some point you don't really think through every step, but the step that you are taking are, okay, that is perfect in alignment with this, this focus that I have for my business. And then it makes it easier to stay on track and not to, like you say, I call it, I chase the shiny thing. Like, oh, that sounds good. I think I'll go do that. You know, you call it the bunny eye. It's like the shiny bright thing or something.
Yeah, well, it's so easy to say yes to so many things, and then you get home and you're like, why did I say yes to that? And so, you know, that I use that type of exercise as my focus to say, oh, I can do that, or no, I can't do that, because I used to say yes to way too many things. I still have a problem with that.
Yeah, I think most of us do. I think women in general tend to say yes because whatever. If you know you can do it, then whatever that is, and you think, well, maybe I should do it. But I found really saying yes because I think I should is not a good thing to answer. Or just because you can doesn't mean you should, actually. Because I really believe that, you know, there is somebody for all these various things. And if we jump right in, and this actually was a lesson I learned from my mother, who said, you know, Delynn, if you quit saying yes to so many things, maybe somebody else would have a chance. It's like, okay, kill my heart. You know, I thought I'm being helpful.
Others are really good for helping you focus, right?
Yeah, for sure. Oh, gosh. So, but
yeah, Karen said no is a complete sentence.
Yeah. Oh, she calls it squirrel. Yeah. So I think we all do that. And it is a matter of, and I think, you know, going back to what you teach and on that, as far as lining things up with your priorities, then if it doesn't, this, whatever it is, it might be a really good thing, a wonderful something that can be done, that somebody may ask you to do, or that you're thinking about doing. But if it really doesn't line up with those 5 priorities, then you can feel good about saying, you know, that doesn't fit in those parameters for right now. Maybe later it will, you don't ever know. But when you start really looking at your life through that lens, I think it makes a big difference.
Yeah, well, and I think part of why a lot of times as women we're stressed, sometimes we're unhappy and a little bit depressed about what's going on. A lot of some of those feelings come from extending ourselves, overextending ourselves. Some of it comes from just the fact that, you know, life has a lot in it. But the thing is that you can find a degree of peace in using that instrument to focus your life. And in other words, you can start to tame the monster out there by focusing on your values and saying no to something. My husband just the other day, who works for the VA, and he's in the homeless department, and so they're trying to house homeless veterans. Well, the rent situation is going up and up and up and up and up and up. And so the thing is that he was stressing over, and I was like, well, what's under your control? Just focus on what's under your control. And he started making a list, and it was like, well, there wasn't really much that was under his control. So he just eliminated that in his head from the worrying, you know, to have to stress to house somebody when there's really, the money was drying up and the rent's going up and all the other things are happening. It, you know, it doesn't solve the problem, but it does help the stress when you can focus yourself down on things like that.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. And, you know, it's when, do you think about when you go get your eyes checked, you know, and they have those little things that go around. And when they first put it in front of your face, you know, you can hardly even see that chart that's at the end of the wall down there. And then they, you know, they take the little things. And then when they get that right one, and it's just so clear that being able to just really focus, it's like a fine line that just, that's it. And sometimes for me, and it's like when I'm in the middle of whatever it is, a new project or a new goal or something that I'm working on, sometimes my brain is organizing all this stuff in my head, and I'm thinking or reading about things. And then all of a sudden, you know, between the spirit talking to me and getting things lined up in my head, that clarity will just come, and it's like wham, that's just it. And then I just know that clear vision that happens. And I think all of us, if we just really would try to focus that way more often, we would have a little, like you were talking, a little more rest and a little more peace in our life, just trying to get that clarity. And it can be in every area. It's not just in jobs, but in our jobs or in our families, how we handle different situations, getting that, just that crystal clear vision. It's so wonderful when it happens.
Yes. Yeah. How I'd like to ask our audience, how do they focus? And if you want to comment in the comments how you use different things to help you focus, or what does focus mean to you? One of the things that I use for focus is routine. And that way I don't have to make decisions all the time. You do a certain thing in a certain order. It helps the mind to focus on what you're doing for the day too. So waking up and having actually I go to bed and I make a list of what I need to do when I wake up. So, but the thing is that that's my focus for the morning, unless I have grandkids around, which will probably be an interruption here soon since we're getting grandkids on Wednesday.
Now, it's not probably, Lisa, it will be. But that's what you're counting on. You want the interruption, right?
Yes.
The kids become the focus, and the interruptions are part of that.
I always love the hands on the face and Grandma.
I need your attention. You
don't have any choice but to focus.
Let's see. So, hi, Anthony. Where are you from? I have not seen you on the program before. Personally focus on what my heart tells me to focus on and distracts me, tells me not to. Yeah, that's great. Letting your heart and your spirit just know what that's going to be, what's going to help you make that focus.
And I think our Ohio gal has said that she uses the calendar that has time slots on it. That's cool.
Yeah, that is. When I'm in a church or a meeting or something where I need to really be paying attention, or even on, when I'm in training classes on Zoom and stuff, I have to write actual pen and paper. And as I'm listening, if I'm taking notes, sometimes I'm not even taking notes as much as just putting something down on paper at the same time helps me get rid of everything that's around and only hear what that person is teaching. And I'm sure there's some neuroscience behind that. Lynn's not here for us to ask, but it really is amazing. And so I most always, when I'm listening to anything, have a pen and paper, because of it. Just it's almost like it takes what that person's saying right down to that piece of paper and on that line. It's like, okay, now I am totally focused. I don't even pay attention to what else is happening out there.
I do the same in when I'm listening to church, because I have a really hard time in church. I'm always
what else is around? Oh, what was that little noise? Or what did they say over there?
Yeah, in my church I do the broadcast for the meeting for people who are watching online. And our church leader said to me, he goes, "Is that going to distract you during the meeting?" And I'm like, "Oh no, it'll help." Because I can focus on that, and I can write my notes, and I can listen to because I have that strange brain. Laura Brown says that time blocking is what she uses. I think that's a great way to do it. I use time blocking as well. I love to put down certain that this is going to take 2 hours and this is going to take an hour. I don't know if that's what her time blocking is, but that's what I use for time blocking. Mm-hmm. And Grace says, I do the same thing. She plans ahead and tries to be consistent with my task, with her task, and plan ahead on Sunday night for the week so that she can be focused on her calendar. That's great. And then she focuses on self-care as well. That is such a good point, Grace, to focus on putting self-care in. How often do we not do that? I realized one time that I took a bath with bath salts and candles, and I was like sitting in the bathtub. It was so relaxing. Turned out the lights, turned on the music, did all the whole thing, the whole spiel.
Oh, wow.
And I'm sitting there, and I'm like, gosh, when was the last time that I did this? And I really honestly could not remember. I mean, it had to have been years and years and years ago. And I was like, you know, bad girl, need to do more of this.
Yeah. Why have to wait so long? If that's something that really
Yeah.
relaxes you, it's like, okay, it's okay. Give yourself permission.
Yeah.
You know, and I think just the, you know, I would say, and maybe this might be a good word for us to discuss sometime, a whole thing is busyness. Our world is so focused on busyness.
Busy
It's almost
dad.
like
Yeah.
the busier you are, that's your badge of honor. Well, I am so
Yeah.
busy, you know, and it's like, well, that's not a good thing.
Nope.
You know, taking that time to yourself. And as women, we tend to not do that. And it's so important that we do, because like, how can we give somebody else if our cup's empty because all we've been doing is busy, 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 busy.
Well, and how many women is a vacation, like I remember family vacations being more dreadful in some ways than regular life, because then I had to pack and do all the other things, and I knew I was going to be busier on the vacation. So, you know, focusing on being in the moment and allowing vacations to be vacations and things like that can be very helpful.
Yeah. My hairdresser, we were just talking yesterday, as a matter of fact. So she just got back. They went out to San Diego to the Del Coronado Hotel, which is this famous historic hotel, beautiful. And she, in her family, she is always the one that hosts all the dinners, like the Christmas dinner and the Thanksgiving dinner, and has the parties and the bridal showers and all this stuff. So she loves to cook and she loves to entertain. She said, but when they planned this vacation, they were talking about, well, why don't we do a VRBO or something and get a place? And she said, no, I need a vacation. If we do that, she would be the one cooking and cleaning. And she said, I wanted a vacation. So they went, and she said it was so wonderful because they ate out every meal. She had no preparation, didn't have to do the dishes. She said it was the most glorious vacation she's had in years. So she was saying that exact same thing you're talking about.
Yeah. And you do have to focus to allow yourself to rest sometimes if you're that personality, you know. And so I noticed that some of us, especially women, no matter where we are, we're busy serving, and sometimes you just have to serve yourself. Sometimes you have to focus on serving yourself.
Well, let's see. I think Jesus did say, love your neighbor as yourself. You know, it is important. I don't think he would have said that. He could have just said, love your neighbor and take care of everybody. He says, love your neighbor as yourself. So there's a degree of loving ourselves and who God created us to be, which gives us permission. So if you need permission, Jesus gave you permission right there to take care of yourself. You know,
when my husband's speaking about that, he says, if we loved if we loved everybody as we love ourselves, would everybody be dead? And you know, and the audience will look at him like, huh? And then they get it, and you just see this light rush over them, and they go, oh. Yeah, they might be.
Yeah, because we certainly aren't as good to ourselves as most of the time. You know, like I said, most of us serve others. You know, we want to do well to other people and be kind and all that. And yet when it comes to ourselves, we just don't take that time, and we feel like it's being selfish, or, you know, you don't have time for that. And that's just, you know, that focus. You know, and I think too, because we try so hard to not be egotistical. You know, it's like you feel like if you're taking care of yourself, well, then it's like, oh, look at me, I'm so great, all that stuff. And yet that's so not the point. It's really just being who God created us to be.
Yeah.
So
and sometimes I think we keep ourselves busy because when we do calm down and we have that rest time, then we're busy self-flagellating, beating ourselves up for what we didn't do. And so sometimes it's uncomfortable to focus on self-care. And so, when you do focus on self-care, Grace said self-care is the new healthcare. It is. It can really allow yourself not to feel guilty, allow yourself to relax in that water of self-care and not worry about everything for a while.
Right. Absolutely. Absolutely. And that I'm going to go back to where we actually started earlier. I think it is so much about that priorities, really about, are you on your top 5 list? Your own self-care. And, we all would probably agree that part of what we do in taking care of ourselves is we want to grow and we want to learn. And those are all really important things. But that other thing, we also need to learn to rest and to take that rest time to re-energize ourselves, revigorate, ourselves. Because the truth is, we'll actually be more productive in the long run if we do that. So if your goal is to be more productive and do more, then take more time to rest. It's like a weird thing, but it makes a difference when we let that be part of our focus.
Yep, definitely. Yeah, focus is a great word. I love it.
So any other last comments y'all want to put in the box over here? We love seeing your comments. It's so great to have you with us, and welcome again to those of you who this is your first time. So we do a thing. So everybody who makes comments goes on our list for the month, and every week that you're on and you make a comment, it could be just, hi, this is Laura, this is Grace, your name goes on it. And then the 1st of August, the first Tuesday in August, we will do our wheel and pick 2 winners of Starbucks gift cards. So we really encourage those comments.
Awesome. Yeah, the comments actually are the best part of the whole show, in my opinion. So.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Absolutely. It's so nice to get y'all's input, your ideas, and the things that you do, because I think as we share with each other, it gives everybody ideas. Maybe I can, do some more time blocking. Maybe I can slot in every day, whatever, 15 minutes. I mean, out of 24 hours, don't you think you are worth 15 minutes to do something in self-care? I mean, when you think about it, like how ridiculous. Well, of course, but do we actually do it? That's kind of the thing.
You gotta take time to pet the chicken. Yep.
Mm-hmm. Focus on those things. And I think too, knowing yourself, each of us really knowing about ourselves. Like I know that I have to have a pen and paper in order to really focus if I want to know what the information somebody's giving me. So understanding those things about yourself. Lisa, talked about the music that she'll put on that helps her filter out everything else. And I think it is about filtering out as much as it is about focusing in and getting that clear line. It's everything else goes out of focus, and that's okay because we're focused on that one thing. It filters it out.
Yeah. Well, my dad used to actually laugh at me. This is when I was really young, and we were in Arkansas, and it came in. We won't say how old the TV was, but I was listening. It was when we first got our new stereo, and I had the headset on, and I was listening to the radio, and I had the TV on, and I was doing my homework. And he came in, and he's like, he takes the headset off, and he goes, "You're wasting power." And I said, "No, I said I'm listening to and doing all 3 things." And he was laughing at me, and he goes, "Yeah, right. What's on the radio?" And I told him. He's like, "What's happening in the TV?" And I was like telling him, and then he's like, "Well, I guess you're getting your homework done." So he left me there. But he always laughed at my weird way of focusing.
And we all have that, whatever that is. So take some of that self-care time and really, I think it's really important to take some time where you just allow yourself to just sit or walk or whatever it is that's right for you. and really think about what are some of those habits, because the chances are you do have particular habits that you do that help you focus, that help you get back in alignment, help you get back where you want to be, or the focus to get where you want to go. I remember when I was earning actually all my pink Cadillacs, but I remember the first one in particular, because up to that point, I don't know that I really believed I could do it. You know, it's a big deal as a director in Mary Kay to get that pink Cadillac. And that when I finally realized I wrote out a thing. I needed X number of people to do a certain thing in my unit. Okay. So I think I had whatever the number was. Let's just say it's 24. And I had 24 slots. And I mean, that became my focus. It was like already done. This is already done. All I'm going to do is put the names in those slots because these people are coming. And that just was my focus. So it takes like a 3-month period to finish up a car, just in general things. And so when I finally realized that I could go about it probably 15 other ways, but for me, what worked was to just make those empty slots on like a vision board. And
yeah,
and then it was that from that point, it's like I just believed those already were pre-done. That was going to happen. That was my whole focus, was finding the right woman that was going to be right in there so we could all do it together. And it was like no option. This was happening, and it did. But it took all that focus to make that really happen. So whether it is in your business or something you want in your personal life, whatever that is, when you're ready to truly focus on that and forget all the other periphery noise that's going on, then that's when it happens. I mean, it truly, it is about focus for sure.
Well, that's that frequency illusion that occurs.
Yeah.
Opportunity comes in front of your face because you're focusing on it.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. It's like the front row parking place, Lisa.
It is.
It is. So, if y'all have ever heard me, y'all know it's like God is just so amazing. I get a front row parking place 99% of the time, every so often. And then I figure, well, I guess I didn't get it this time because I was a minute early. I mean, I was a minute too fast. But yeah, and it's that positive expectation. If we're always focusing, I just so believe it is when we focus on the positive, we focus on looking for good. It is so there right in front of our face, and we're so ready to receive it by focusing, letting that be our focus and not the other side. So here we are at the top. It is time for us to close up the show again this week.
So fast.
Thank you all for being here. Oh, you just parked in the front row. Karen, you start looking, everybody. Y'all look for that front row parking spot. And just believe me, if you don't look, if you don't look, you won't find it. Right? So go looking for it. Just see how many times it happens. It's pretty cool. So thanks, Lisa. Great word for the day. And we're going to have a guest next week. I'll put an announcement out there. So we have a guest. I did on her show. I did a thing on her show, and she was just such a delight to talk to. And so I'll put the info out there for next week. So we'll have a guest on there.
Wonderful.
So the rest of you, remember, all right, you ready? Remember that life is not a matter of chance. It is a matter of choice. Choose to focus, okay? Choose to focus on what you want and watch it come true, all right? Have a good week and see y'all later. Bye.